with our love/hatred for teachers. Now, I want to start this thing off by asking you. Because I don't want to come off as biased, right? I don't want to come off like, here comes the high horse. But as someone who's not in the education field, what were your experiences, for good and for bad? Do you have any teachers that you have any good memories with? By that sound, I was going to say you probably have a bunch of non-good memories, but you got one.
I fucking hate teachers. The fact that you married one and became one yourself is fucking crazy to me. Fucking hate teachers.
But talk to me about the one teacher that you do actually like have a memory of. Like, what was the subject? How did you know this person?
It was physics.
Physics. So this is later. This is high school.
Yep. Physics. And the only reason why I liked her so much wasn't necessarily like the class. The class was cool, but she was just like she always seemed like she was like, what drug makes you happy?
Oh, like Prozac or something?
I don't know. She was on something, man.
She was on some shit.
She was really tiny, older white lady, but she had that like really high pitch, aggressively happy giggle.
Oh.
And she would do it a lot, and she just was really cute with it. I don't know. She was just a cool teacher. She always very positive, never really a jerk. If you fucked up, she had a weird way of like helping you out, but also kind of making you feel like, you fucked that up and you need to do the work in a way where I don't know. She kind of like put it on you. Like, if you don't get it done, then, I mean, you're just going to fail. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But I always kind of like, if I didn't do my work, I actually felt like it was my fault. She had a good way of doing that.
Making you accountable for your own shit?
Yeah, making you accountable. There you go. But she didn't do it in like a douchey way. It was more like she would get serious for a second and then just go back to being bubbly. So I was like, oh, wait, am I the asshole? I think I'm the asshole here. So.
Am I? Am I the asshole?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, I probably should have did that.
Yeah. Well, do you remember her name?
Every other teacher sucks ass.
Do you remember her name?
No, dude, no, not at all. I couldn't remember. I want to say it was weirdly enough. I know it's a very, very, very white lady. I feel
it was a very white lady,
but I feel like it was like Miss Johnson or something.
Oh, despite the whiteness, it was a
That's why
it stood out.
I feel like that's what it was, but I could be completely wrong. I can't remember.
Oh my God! What you had more experiences with not so good teachers? What was like the most consistent? Like, what was the common denominator between all these shitty teachers? What was it that made them all so bad? Like, what was the one quality they all shared that was besides like the straight douchebags that just had poor attitudes? Like, what kind of bad
ego? If I look at it in hindsight, it's ego.
Oh, power trip. Like, do as I say.
I wasn't the baby for that. I wasn't the kid for that. I contest ego very proudly.
Oh, okay.
At that age. So, yeah, I'm sure if you asked them, I was also a terror. So. Oh. I mean, I think the feeling is mutual, but
mutual hatred.
Yeah. I'm sure they hated me just as much.
So let me ask you this: you survived, right? You got through all that stuff, high school diploma. You made it through. How does this affect you now in father mode? Because now your daughter is starting the early processes of actually going to a facility with these other people. But does your experience, do you think that's going to affect you when you start getting into higher, like, kindergarten, first grade, third grade? Now we're doing like real school stuff, and you're meeting teachers, and you're doing
for her.
For her, yeah. Like, are you?
I don't know. We're not there yet.
I know you're not there yet, but like, do you?
No. I mean, we're not there as in like I don't know if she's going to a public school yet or not. Well, I'm not sure.
Public's not the real issue. I mean, any school she goes to, she's going to have teachers.
Yeah, well, I'm too broke for. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, as far as that goes, I don't know. Like, obviously I'm self-aware, so I know as a child I could have handled things better,
Right.
and I would have gotten better outcomes for myself. Like, I understand that. So with me, it's going to be tough because obviously with kids, you need to teach them to respect authority, regardless if you
agree or not.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be out here being ruthless. Or like, regardless if you like it or not, you got to get your shit done and get the fuck out of there. Essentially,
Right,
is
yeah.
what I'm gonna try to lead with. Like, you hate this. I know you hate this person. You think there's a target on your back. Shut the fuck up. Do the work and get the fuck out of there. Like, that's my mindset to it, because if she comes to me and be like, I don't like this lady, I think she doesn't like me, or whatever the case may be, me personally, I'm inclined to believe her.
Right.
That the teacher is a piece of shit. But I can't just teach her to take anything and make it someone else's problem and not her own fucking problem. So to answer the question, I don't change my stance when it comes to her, but as the parent, I can't lead with how I would react. I need to be able to assess and teach her how to do the same thing. So it's going to be like walking her through it with, hey, listen, you're right. She's probably an asshole, but like,
you're right. Listen, she's probably an asshole.
You need to learn to find a way to make your life easier instead of contesting everything stupid that someone says.
Right.
So that's how I'm going to try to approach it. Let's see how that fucking works for me.
It's trial and error. Let's see how it goes. I think your reaction to it is going to be based on performance, because I think that's what happened to us. Right? So, like, Alex is in 4th grade now. And for years, he had what I would consider to be really good and effective teachers. We didn't really have much of an issue with the teachers that he's had. And then in 4th grade, we got introduced to 2 teachers that he's had all year. We're in May now. That are just really, really bad at teaching. And I don't mean in a sense like, I'm not trying to disrespect them as people. I don't know them as people, but in a classroom setting, teaching with kids, they're not good at it. And it's very frustrating because we as a household, we're educators. My wife's a teacher, I'm a teacher, and so he doesn't need to be in that building to get the education that he needs. What frustrates us sometimes is that he has friends that he goes to school with, that he hangs out with outside of school. So when that happens, we're meeting their parents. We're hanging out with their parents. Parents and parents hanging out together while the kids play. And you hear a lot of the same complaints. You know, he's failing this, or he's not doing so well in that, or she's not doing so good in this, blah, blah, blah. And they don't know how to fix that. They don't have the training to fix that. They don't know the questions they should be asking. They don't know how to supplement the kid while at home when he's not at school. They're just regular people. For the most part, everyone who graduates high school or college and then does work in a field that's not in education, they lose those tools because you forget what it's like to be in a classroom. And even if you could remember, it's a completely different classroom. I'm 42 years old. I haven't been in a classroom setting as a student in 20-something years. We didn't have smartboards, iPads, laptops, and all that garbage when I was in school. So my classroom setting when I was a kid is different. So when we had him, my wife, who has been, she went from high school graduate to college, where she got training in the classroom, and then out of college back into the classroom. She never skipped a beat. She's been in a classroom since she was 5. And so she grew with the times, so she knows exactly how this is supposed to look, how this is supposed to go. So for us, we get triggered very easily in our current situation because my wife, when my son just finished today state testing. There's 2 days last week, 2 days this week, right? That classroom does not have any parents that conduct state testing. She does. She does do it. So when she asks for scores, or when they do assessments on him, and they're doing a reading assessment or a math assessment, or they're taking this math group assessment, or whatever the case it is, will you say teachers use that jargon against parents to give the parents a sense of effort, right? Well, we're using this program, and he's going to be reading this, and he's supposed to be on this level, and he's reaching this level. So, and then the parents go, "Oh, look at me! I'm raising a kid who's on level." Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, that level could be dirt low, and you don't know. She knows, so she never asks the teacher, "How is he doing?" She goes, "Can I see the results of the test?" And they always. I don't even know why they're surprised at this point, because we've been with the school for 5 years, but she does it every time. You guys can give me your opinion on how he's behaving in class. That's fine. I want to see the test results. I want to see the math. I want to see the screen. The one with the little line that goes either up or down. I want to know what level he's supposed to be at. I want to know this. I want to know that. So for us, we have kind of an inside track. So we react very poorly toward these teachers sometimes when we do these report cards, because they'll tell us what he's weak in, but they won't tell us what their plan is to strengthen his weakness. They'll just go, well, like for instance, 2 report cards ago, he was having an issue in writing class. He's not being very clear. He's rambling on, all this different stuff. Okay, cool. What's the plan to fix it? Well, we're going to do this, this, and this, which is bullshit. We know what this is, because that's what other teachers at our school tell their fucking parents. We know that means nothing. No. In the classroom, when you sit with him, what's the fucking game plan? Don't tell me you're going to have him watch a video or something like what's the actual plan? And they won't have one. So Steph had to come up with one. And then his report card jumped up. And, they scored him 1, 2, 3, 4. He was a 4 for years. And then all of a sudden he was a 2 in writing at the beginning of the year. When the next report card came, he was back to a 4. And they really did try to take credit for it. They really did. And my son was like, no. And my wife was like, no. But you're welcome, though. We'll give you that one. See, for me, when I was a kid, just like you, I didn't really have a lot of experiences with very good teachers. I had one teacher that I really, really liked, just like you, one teacher. And I don't remember what his last name was, because he never gave us his last name. We always just called him Doug. Because that's what he
already starting off good.
Yeah, his name was Doug.
Just call me Doug.
And I have a picture of Doug in my hallway. I have a collage of pictures in my hallway in my apartment with all my family and stuff like that. You're up there, like a bunch of people are on my wall. And Doug's up there in my little graduation hat, my graduation gown and stuff like that, because he was one of my favorite teachers. I got a picture with him. He was my computer teacher. He's the reason that I am a tech to this day, because he's the one that showed me the ins and the outs, the motherboards, the hard drives, the SCSIs, all that stuff, taking it apart, putting it together. When I was in his class, we had floppy disks. That's how old I am, how far back we go. He was also the one who taught us how to play Doom on the computer.
What a guy.
Yeah, this guy was all encompassing. And if you want to make it seem even more badass, he was doing this computer shit, the teaching shit on the side. He was a retired Air Force pilot and a captain. Not just any pilot. He was the motherfucking captain. He's the lead plane. He's the one who moved that little thing over. Night one, move it to the corner, please. He was calling the fucking shots. He used to come in and he used to bring Polaroids in, and he would show us him with the plane and him and his buddies. He had a couple of pictures of him in the air. They took Polaroids while they were in the air. Fucking awesome. Doug was the fucking man. And after Doug, nothing. Now, I'm pretty sure by now Doug is gone, because he was old when I knew him, and that was like 30-something years ago. The next best teacher is obviously, to me, it's my wife. I've never seen anybody do what she does under the fucking circumstances that she does it. It's fucking amazing. And physically, like the way that the kids physically cause problems in that classroom, it's almost like, you ever seen those movies where the kids are in detention centers or whatever, but they're in juvie, but they still have to go to class? So there's like a fight every 2 seconds with bars on the windows. That's the kind of situation. She's out here being a freedom rider like Hilary Swank. It's fucking crazy. She's Michelle Pfeiffer in Gangsta's Paradise. It's fucking nuts. But yeah, so when I was doing so many odd jobs here and there, and I finally got lumped into doing the school thing because it was really good schedule. It allowed me to get my weekends. I was able to do more wrestling shows. That was like the whole point. And it just stumbled onto, I just progressed into being an actual teacher myself. Other than that, it was a whole money thing. But I see, that's my side of it now, because I grew up just like you. I hated teachers. And as a matter of fact, this is between me and you and the audience. Sometimes when me and the missus would get physical, I give her to a little extra to get back at the teachers from back in the day. Give her a little bit more oomph, just a little bit, a little payback to the past. I'll show these teachers, by God.
Mm-hmm.
And so being on the other side of it now, like that's stuff that I kind of take into consideration when I'm in a classroom, the way that teachers made me feel. So like I try to go the other way, but within reason. Because if you're too cuddly, if you're too happy, if you're too, hey, bro, like chill, then they'll take it and fucking run with it like crazy. So you got to give them like the right amount of dosage of both. You got to give them a little shut the fuck up, but along with, speak your mind. Like there's a fine line like right in the middle there somewhere. I've been doing it long enough now to finally find it. Also, I have a much easier job because I'm PE. I'm Jim. I'm the fun class. She's got to sit there with a book with mathematics and language arts like a loser. Not me. We do physical activity in my goddamn class. But the problem is I get students that think gym is recess, which I can't have. I actually have to do stuff in my class. We have to practice actual skills and do actual shit. And so sometimes that could fuck up the flow of things, because they coming down there, especially if I got them like after lunch. They high on shit. They just ate. They just got their snack in. They ready to fucking rock. And I'm like, yeah, everyone have a seat. Watch as I show you the intricate skills of a field goal kick or some stupid shit. They're like, oh.
They're not old enough to have that itis side effect. They actually,
they
actually respond to food like you're supposed to and like, get energy.
Energy, fuel. These motherfuckers are ready to go. I have, it's one of two ways. I either have a classroom full of people who just want to run around all fucking day, or a classroom full of kids who I just want my iPad and that's it. Just leave me alone. I'm not fucking with you. Don't fuck with me. We're good. Just let me know when the bus is here so I can go home. That's it. That's all I want to do. So that's what that is there. So I wanted to take a moment out, show some appreciation to those out there who are in the trenches.
Those teachers.
In the trenches. Out here dealing with the children's.
Fuck them.
Hey, look, I work with a bunch of them, and I say fuck them. You know how many people I work with where I go, you fucking suck at this. You are fucking terrible. You're a horrible human being. You shouldn't even be in here. I'm about to message all your parents and be like, yo, pull him out of here right now.
You know what it is for me when it comes to like teachers and even care providers? I know this is going to seem very unfair. Huh?
You're lumping them all together. Okay.
Well, this take is for both of them is because my take on this, I know is probably a lot of people wouldn't have the same take, but if you're someone who doesn't have high level patience, you shouldn't be in that job.
100%.
You shouldn't fucking be
100%. I don't think you're going to be alone in that thought process. I think you're going to find people in the industry who agree with you. The problem
is that I have very little sympathy for them in that manner where it's like, oh, well, it's a very stressful job. They lost their cool. Like, to me, I don't think you're allowed to lose your cool.
No.
And don't get me wrong. I know that's a very hot take and it's very unfair, but I don't think that it's like the same thing with like being a cop or something like that. It's like it's tough. I understand, but like you're one of the few people in a very particular career that like you're not allowed the mistake because something bad happens if you do. Like you just got to be a master at coping and being able to handle the situation. And I think it's the exact opposite where like it's to the point where people just lose their cool so obviously. Mm-hmm. And then you see all these people comments and like, oh, it's so hard and give them a break. Like, what would you do in that situation? I'm not putting myself there because I know kids are fucking terrible, and I will fucking go to jail quick.
I don't think you're alone in that thought process at all. I could find you many people who are in schools right now who would love to be rid of certain coworkers because of that exact same thing. Because it's a cascading effect, right? So not only if children as a whole are, no matter how much they know or no matter how much knowledge they've accumulated in a short amount of time, they're still blank canvases to a degree. Meaning when you blow your stack, that's a memory they're going to have forever. Yep. Of that one time that one teacher blew his fucking stack and put his hands on me or yelled at me or made me feel like shit or whatever the case may be. And that kind of shapes that helps shape that individual. That's why some parents, sometimes when you have kids and you give them everything that they need and you're raising them all right, and you're raising them good, and they get all the way up to about age 11 or 12 and they're a certain way, and then all of a sudden something shifts. It's usually some shit that happened at school. Because let's be honest, you spend more time at school than any other place with the exception of maybe your own home. And even that's close. You're spending a lot of time in school in your youth. So your teacher, your classmates, these are people that are a part of your circle whether you want them or not. So when you lose your fucking cool or you lose your shit or I'm tired of repeating myself, but that's the point. That's where you are, a place where you're supposed to repeat yourself. He doesn't have it fucking committed to memory yet. If he did, you wouldn't have to fucking repeat yourself. Like, that's sometimes one of the things that we have to remind. Like, people say, okay, he lost his shit, he snapped on a student, okay, he's human. Okay, but the job isn't for you to be in a human state. You were literally chosen and hired to be in this position because this individual needs more help than the average individual. Okay? If you're a college professor and you got a 38-year-old in your classroom who's fucking up, and all of a sudden you want to be real, right? Like, look, dude, I mean, how many, like, to a degree, it's still unprofessional, but I have an understanding of why, because you're holding this 38-year-old to a higher level of standard. Like, you've lived life, my guy. You 40. This is, you either got this or you don't. But when you take,
I mean, clearly he doesn't. Yeah. He's there at 40.
When you take the 8-year-old across the table and you start getting on his ass about shit, I feel less sympathy for you at that point because he's 8. I understand it's very frustrating. You've said this shit 6 times. I understand.
And it's even worse because they don't get paid well, or as well as I think they should get paid. Not to say that they get for what they do. Yeah. A lot of them do get very poorly, so I want to be careful how I say that.
Well, I mean,
we got not like getting $10 an hour. But, yeah. I mean, what they
we're not getting peanuts for sure. Yeah,
right. But I fucking lost my point. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna say that people outside of the education bubble got a very nice dose of what it's like to sit with that fucking kid for several hours during the pandemic.
Thank you. You just reminded me. Yes. And the hardest part that I do sympathize with, and it's very difficult for me to be in my own mental mind state and how I handle situations, which I understand is unique. I'm very patient when it comes to certain things, especially in like high tense situations where you snap. I try to, keep my cool as best I can. The one thing I do have sympathy with is the fact that the one person that is supposed to be on your side to help usually can be the problem, and that's the parents. Yeah. Like if you're trying to communicate some of this shit and they're like, well, what he do? Well, he's jumping around. Why are you jumping around? He's just then starts smacking him and shit. Was like, ma'am, listen, you think you're disciplining him, but all you're doing is pissing him off and then sending him to me. Yeah. I don't have the authority that you have. So if he doesn't respect you, he's not going to fucking respect me.
Yep.
So that I do feel bad that they have to deal with shit like that. Like I wish most parents were a little more understanding, but that's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
an asshole too. So.
Yeah, I got parents who couldn't give less of a shit about what's happening at school. We're a daycare center to them. They drop their kid off, they can go live their lives, do all their errands, all that shit, and then they come and they pick them up later. And then we have others who are really, really, really involved, and really, really, really want to do all the right things, and they want to be there for everything, and they want to make sure he's doing the best, but they don't know what that encompasses or what it means. So it's a very mixed bag. So you try to be encompassing for everybody. Some parents I gotta talk to like I would my homie on the block, and then there's other parents where I gotta give them all the literal terms and what this means and what that, where he's meeting standards here, but he's below average here, and then we're gonna do this, and I'll use the fitness gram in order to do da 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 da. Right? So like it varies. You just gotta figure out how you're able to communicate. Steph has a smaller classroom, so she only has a finite number of parents that she has to talk to, right? Because she doesn't have like 30, 40 kids in a room. Her particular situation, she has less kids, but those are the parents she has to deal with. I am attached to every classroom on the floor, so I have multiple sets of parents that I have to at some point. Like for me, report cards are a pain in the ass because I got well over 100 kids that I got to put in grades for. And then after you put in the report card grades, you have to have a report card meeting with any parent that wishes to discuss it or have questions about it. We put out this thing where people can either call us or hit us up on Class Dojo or whatever the case may be. I'm not big on the calls. Please send me messages. I will call those who want to. Sometimes I have kids who don't have parents. They have like the grandparents. So they're not really good with the tech stuff, so I got to call them. How's Charles doing? He's doing fine, ma'am. Oh, okay, I told my baby, I said, listen in class or I'm going to whoop that ass. I said, okay, he's doing good. Please don't whoop his ass. He's all right. Like having one of those conversations, or this has happened to me, especially recently. I have parents that don't speak English. So what happens is that I got to go to Class Dojo to message them, but I got to use Google Translate to type in my messages and then copy and paste that. And then I got to copy and paste their response and put that in Google Translate. And I don't mean like just Spanish. There's people who speak like Hindu and all kinds of, what was the one from Chuck? He was from Albania. So like Google Translate is like a godsend because they got all those languages on there. And it's not a perfect translation, but they get the idea.
Get the gist of it.
They get the gist of it, yeah. So that's what helps us out. So shout out to all those out there doing their thing. Keep on trucking. If you are shitty at what you do, as my brother stated, and I'm going to go ahead and second that, get the fuck out and leave room for the rest of us. We got kids to mold over here, motherfuckers. I don't have time to be sitting here cleaning up your fucking mess.
Yeah, don't talk to my kid like an adult, or we're gonna have a fucking problem.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
You know how many kids? It goes both ways. I've seen teachers who teach first, second, third grade, something like that, and they'll work with the kid, and the kid will be great, and the kid will be like on it, does their job, and then they leave you, and they go into higher grades where they meet other teachers, and then those teachers fuck them up. And don't do a good job. And when they were with you, they were an angel. And now with them, they're getting arrested and they're getting expelled and all kinds. He's like, what the fuck happened? What did you do? And I've seen it reversed, where teachers teach 1, 2, 3, and they do a shitty job. And they get to fourth grade and they can't read for shit. They can't write for shit. And you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? So you're a fourth grade teacher giving kindergarten level, first grade level shit to a student. And you have standards you have to meet. So now it's like, what the fuck? And then you look at the other teacher like, what the fuck are you doing? What was you, SpongeBobbing all fucking day? He's got those lines memorized. But he can't read fucking C-Spot Run? What's the matter with you? So, so like I said, if you're doing a great job, if you're doing your thing, I appreciate you. If you're not doing your thing, get the fuck out. You're making it difficult for the rest of us. Please fucking move. Go on about your business. Go be unhappy somewhere else. Because a bunch of motherfuckers jump into this position because of the goddamn schedule. They love the schedule. No nights, no weekends. I get holidays, Christmas for a week, April in a week. Yeah, sign me up. Fuck you. Do the work. And then, then we can talk about you having some time off. Jesus Christ.
Bars.
Yeah, that's a